Great. So there's been some fantastic content the last few days about changes coming in the education system. One area where we probably haven't seen as much change as we should is the work system. So if you think about the work system that we have today, it's virtually unchanged over the last 100 years. And it's our company's contention that that creates a worse outcome for workers and also a worse outcome for employers, and that technologies that are available today can massively improve how that system works. And so those new technologies and some shifts in the labor market are really changing the way we work in very core ways. There's some specific drivers of this. So increasingly a workforce is looking for more flexibility. Folks want to exit the traditional 9-to-5, Monday through Friday, decades with the same company work scheme. Additionally, they want more ownership of their work. They don't want to be the number 9 person on the marketing team at a CPG company, but they want to have true ownership over outcomes in their workforce. And so that every day they feel as if they're going in for a specific purpose rather than just to make money and in some cases just avoid getting fired. And the last is that purpose. And increasingly, as millennials represent a larger fraction of the workforce, they want their work every day to actually mean something. They are very different from their parents and grandparents who potentially thought about work as something that you did to get paid or to pay the bills or to support your family, but instead they think about work as something that's personal and authentic to them. At the same time, the Fortune 1000 companies we work with are experiencing a massive talent gap, where they literally do not have the talent they need to execute on their strategy. And a lot of those companies are missing out on the expertise that they need to win. Whether it's for geographic reasons or because their mission has changed, they simply don't have the talent available to them in their local market through a 9-to-5 model that makes sense. And last, they want more flexibility with their workforce. So while workers are looking for more flexible arrangements, companies want to provide it. So these changes mean a lot for corporate leaders. And we surveyed a bunch of them, and what we found was nearly 85 out of 100 believe that the best people may be outside of their companies, that they do not have the talent they need internally to win. And 3 out of 4 believe that they need to think about alternative workforce models in order to drive the kinds of business results that they're seeking. And there are real challenges to the way the current workforce is organized. So there are 40% of companies who can't fill many open positions they need, and there are real economic costs to that. So we believe that the future of work, particularly at the higher levels, is on demand, that it will be more spontaneous, that opportunities will be addressed in real time. And so whereas today, if you have a need, you will survey your existing workforce, see if there's somebody in the building who can actually do the work. In the future, you will source talent in real time per needs that you have. And that bandwidth, which right now, if you think about it, is fairly inflexible. If you want to be able to accomplish more as a company using the old model, you need to make new full-time hires. If for some reason you see demand drop off and you have less need for workers, you typically will lay people off. Neither of those really make sense in a world where you can move up and down your marginal capacity for labor, and that's exactly what our platform provides. And importantly, work needs to be more remote, more flexible and more remote. So if you are only constrained to the people who can show up at your building every day, you're almost definitionally not getting the most out of the global brain. And we believe that our system is more merit-based and more fair. And so traditionally, the way that people are evaluated is a couple times a year. It's anecdotal. It tends not to be very fact-based. And it tends not to be particularly helpful. It's usually more of an input to compensation decisions, and in some cases, promotion. The way that our platform works, folks are actually given feedback in real time at the conclusion of each project and given almost Uber-like ratings along very clear dimensions that help them on their personal improvement journey. So what the Catalant platform actually does is offer you the best people on demand. We have a network of 40,000 extremely talented high-end freelancers who have worked at the leading consulting firms, the leading investment banks, the leading operating companies, and they're deployed to you in an app environment where you not only get that network of experts, you also see consulting firms, you also see your retirees and your alumni networks, and then in certain cases with more of our forward-looking customers, your internal teams. And that all shows up in one buy box such that you can freely switch between, I need a freelancer this week, and next week it turns out there's somebody internal with capacity. Or I actually want to make a team of internal experts on the product with external experts on the functional area where the expertise is required. And I'm going to take you through 2 quick client success stories, some of our earliest client relationships that have really matured and become more sophisticated. So GE is in the process of being a transition from being a pure industrial company to a digital industrial company. And despite having 305,000 global employees, what GE identified and why they chose to engage with us was that they needed a whole range of digital experts and they wanted to work with them in a different way. And so now if you are a GE user on your desktop, you can head over to the Catalant portal and purchase talent in real time that is compliant, it's vetted, and it works with your existing HR processes. Anheuser-Busch is a fantastic company that even today makes a lot of their money from selling only a few products. And as they think about the trends, whether they're demographics or culturally influenced taste, away from mainline lagers and towards interesting new alcohol consumption, they chose to partner with us to help power their disruptive growth organization, where they are constantly thinking of new ways to operate and new products to sell and new selling moments to distribute their products in. And we have helped power that innovation ecosystem in a way that wouldn't be possible with a traditional workforce. So what we would ask you, whether you work at one of those large companies or a smaller one, is to try to be a leader in talent innovation. Think about ways that you can bring in resources from outside of your company. We are somewhat atypical for this room and format. We've raised about $35 million of equity financing so far. And the plan for the next few years is largely to continue expanding with our existing clients. We work with about 15% of the Fortune 1000, and then begin to capture the remaining verticals outside of healthcare, consumer, industrials, and financials where we have not yet been as active. Thanks very much.